Hi there. I'm going to make baguettes. We're actually having a fondue tonight. And so I thought I would show you. This is a little bit different recipe because you use your food processor to make it. So I thought I would just take you through the steps of how I make it. And I don't have a baguette pan or anything, so I'm just going to show you how I do it, just on a cookie sheet. So we put in half a cup of warm water, about 100 degrees, and 2 scant tablespoons, which means just a little bit less, I don't know if you can tell, a little bit less than a tablespoon of yeast. So 2 of those. And if you're ever wondering what a pack of, when they call for packages of yeast, if you have, like if you buy it in large quantities like I do, it's a scant tablespoon, or 2.5 teaspoons, or even 2 teaspoons is plenty. And then 1 teaspoon of just regular granulated sugar, and I just sprinkle it on top here. And then what I do is I just give it a little stir, and I'm going to let this sit for 5 or 10 minutes while I set up my food processor and get the rest of my ingredients. So we'll be right back. Hi there. Okay, so we've got 6 cups of just regular all-purpose flour in here. And I forgot to show you, I'll show you when I've done this. I put in the dough blade. It's a little blade, but it's plastic. So if you have that, use it. If you don't, cut down the time I tell you to mix stuff by 25%. Just so you know. So I've just got 6 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of salt, just regular table salt in here. I'm just going to pulse it a couple times to get it fluffy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, seems to be doing okay. Okay. Sometimes I'm afraid it's going to blow flour at me, but it seemed to be working just fine. So I've got my yeast all proofed, and you can see it's all nice and foamy and bubbly, so we know that it's ready. And what I'm going to do is just pour it slowly into my flour. Got my little rubber spatula here, so I'm just going to turn it on, and I'm going to slowly add it to my dough mixture. Oh, you guys can't see that. Let's see. Raise it a bit. There we go. Adding it. And then what I'm going to do is add some 90 to 100 degree temperature water slowly into it until it is just incorporated. So as quickly as your flour will absorb the water, add it in. So I just kind of put a steady stream in here. Let you guys watch the whole process so you can see how it starts to come together. There's our first cup. And then now the second cup. I'm noticing it's kind of keeping separate, so what I want to do, this blade is a bit shorter than your regular blade. Not exactly sure why they do that, but it is. So I guess maybe to make more room for the dough. So I'm just going to push some of this flour into the rest of it, hoping that it will, maybe even I'm going to put some water in like that. Turn it back on. Pour it in. Starting to come together now. Okay, so it just came together. Now what I want to do is pulse it about 7 times to make sure that it's nice and incorporated. 1, oops, pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now what I'm going to do is just check it. I've got bits of wetness, bits of dryness, so it's definitely not completely incorporated together yet. Yeah, we've got some dry down here, but I don't want to add water yet because I still have some real sticky parts, so I want it to incorporate a bit better. So I'm just going to turn it on for a minute. It's starting to come together now. Still thinking it might be a bit dry though. We take out this big ball. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of water on the bottom there. Let's use a measuring cup or measuring spoon just so we know that we're doing it a tablespoon at a time. There we go, that's kind of good there. So it looked like it wanted one more tablespoon. So now that we've added all of that, now we're going to knead it for about 3 or 4 minutes. So I'm going to try it without any flour on the board and see how it turns out. When I turn this out, I'll show you the dough hook I was using. A little bit of dry here, but not much. And here's the dough hook. It's just a little plastic. You can use your metal one if that's what you have, but I would, like I said, turn it down about 25%. So this dough is fairly sticky. I'm thinking that I'm going to be able to knead it though without adding flour to the board. It's not so sticky that it's completely sticking to the table or the counter, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm going to knead this about 3 or 4 minutes and I'll come back and show you the next step. Hi there, I'm just coming to the end of my kneading. I just wanted to show you how I knead my dough. Let's see if I can. So I'm just kneading it like this. And it's just an alternative, especially if you find it, for any reason, difficult on your body to knead. This is a lot easier on the body. It takes a little bit of practice, but I bet you within a minute you'll have it down flat. So what I'm doing is just bringing the dough to me, kind of folding it like this, rolling it out, and bringing it back. And then I've got a long end again, which I fold over and bring in. And it makes, I just find the kneading a lot easier, and that it doesn't make the dough as stiff. When you're kneading with 2 hands, I think maybe it's almost too aggressive for it, and this really allows for a softer, easier dough. I've watched quite a few bakers that do their artisan bakers that do their bread by hand do it like this, and I do find it a lot easier. So anyways, here's the dough. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in a bowl sorry, and coat this a bit with oil and let it rise for about an hour. An hour should be plenty. Basically what you're looking for is for it to be double. So when it's doubled up, I'll come back and show you the next step. We'll be right back. Hi there. Okay, so it's been about an hour and I've taken my bread out of the oven where I keep it. And it's almost doubled, or it's more than doubled in size. So what I'm going to do is divide it into 4 pieces because I'm going to make this into baguettes. If you want to make it into French loaf, you can make one really big loaf or cut it in half for some average sized, generally about basic sized French loaf. So I'm just going to peel that out of there. And as any of you who have watched my videos know, I don't like thumping and pounding on my bread. So you can just use a knife. I just have a scraper here, and I'm going to try to divide this into as even loaves as I possibly can. And like I said, I'm doing baguettes, so I'm going to do it into 4 pieces. Divide that up, and I'll do one here for you. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull both sides into the middle like this, and then just roll it into a log. And what I'm doing, I don't have a baguette pan. Baguette pans are a new invention, and I'm still using some newer ingenuity. But what I've done is I've got a cookie sheet, and I've put some tin foil. I just made just a little bit of tin foil into 3 little, let me see how, there we go, into 3 sections, because I'm going to have 4 loaves. And then I'm going to put my parchment paper down, and then I'm just going to rest them in here. So I'm just rolling, and what you want to do is kind of taper the ends a little bit, but not that much. And what you want to do is put your fold side down. So here's my fold. I'm going to see how that'll rest right in there. Perfect. You want to leave a little edge, little room here on the edge of your pan. And I'm going to do that. I'll do it again for you so you can see how I do it. Just folding the ends in. And then just kind of starting in the middle, slowly pulling my hands out. And what you're trying to do is just get it about as even as you can with a little bit of a tapered end, possibly. And this one in. I'm just basically trying to do it the width of my pan here. And we'll do it again. I wasn't going to show you all 4 of them, but it's going by fast, so if you don't want to watch this part, just fast forward it if you don't need to see it. That's kind of thick on the end there. And then the last one, fold that in. That one I didn't do on the fold. If you don't do it on the fold, lay any of your bread on the fold, sometimes you'll end up with if it's on the edge, say here, the fold, when it goes to rise, it'll split there and you'll end up with this big indent. So that's why you always put it on your end. And then I just kind of roll it out and pinch my ends and then roll them flat. Basically what you want to do is try to make sure that it's about even. Let's slide this one over a smidge so I have room. Slide this over. You're basically just trying to get it so they're all even. You do not even have to do it on parchment. You don't have to do it with the little dividers. The reason I do it is it keeps, usually my French bread ends up quite flat, and it's because it's not in a pan that's got some edges to sort of keep it going up. And you can just do it on a cookie sheet. Make sure it's very well oiled, and then it won't stick. So with French bread and baguettes, it's usually better to have quite a bit of oil. So even in your bread pans and stuff. So that's my little improvised baguette pan. And I'm just going to cover it with a towel and let it rise again in the oven for about 45 minutes. It generally doesn't take an hour. 45 minutes is plenty. You know what? I'm a little bit concerned that it might stick. So where's that plastic bag we cut open a couple days ago? I think I used it for something. Anyways, I'm going to put a plastic sheet over this, or you can put plastic wrap. It seems like it's fairly dry, but I'm a little bit concerned that it will stick. So I just want to make sure. I know I have it around here somewhere. So I'm going to find it, put my towel over top of it, and stick it in the oven for 45 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when we come back. Hi there. Okay, so the bread was risen for about 45 minutes. I'll just show you what it looks like. Oh, I probably should have oiled this. Look at it sticking. Oh no. Maybe I should have oiled these. Okay, you guys oil them. Learn from my mistakes. I usually don't have this problem with sticking, but you know what? My oven was a little bit warmer than it usually is, and I'm wondering if that's the problem. But whatever. Because this kind of thing happens, and it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. So what I've done is I've preheated, you just heard it beep, I'm preheating the oven. And you'll see where my tin foil is. So maybe next time I might want to put it a little bit thicker tin foil if I wanted it to be a little bit higher, but whatever, I think it looks great. So what I'm going to do is actually slice it. I'm going to try to slice it. You know what, I've got a bread slicer, dough slicer, but I'm going to have to dig around and find it. I don't want you to have to wait while I dig around, so, well, I'll just fast forward it. If you don't want to listen to me dig. No, I can't find the silly thing. Oh, crud. And my knife isn't sharp enough. Okay, I'm just going to use the pokey end. And what this does actually is it releases a bit of steam. You can see I'm totally deflated. I have a little blade. That's what I should have grabbed. I have some razor blades. And I should have grabbed one of those. But whatever. It's fine. So what I'm doing is, this is a large egg with 1 tablespoon of water. The reason you have the water is because, you know, the consistency of eggs is quite thick and you want it a little bit more runny like that so that it's easy to brush on. And I've just got this little silicone pastry brush. I really like it. And what this does is it helps seal in the moisture, number 1, into your bread. And 2, it actually gives it a nice golden color. You'll see when it's finished baking. So I'm just gonna be gentle with it. I've already deflated it some by poking around with it and pulling the cloth off it. Oh, so sad. But whatever. It's a good thing I didn't put straight towel on it though. But I probably could have used a bit of oil on the plastic. So make sure you do that. Okay. And for the knife, either have a very sharp one or get yourself a razor blade for cooking. I actually do have a bunch of blades. So, but anyways, whatever. Okay. Now the thing with baking baguettes and French bread is that you want steam in your oven. There's lots of methods of doing this. You can either put, there's 2 racks in your oven. So what you want to do is, what I've done is I've preheated my oven. I've got a cookie sheet on the 2nd rack, and I'm going to put cold water into it. I'm going to put my bread in, and then I'm going to put cold water into that pan and immediately close the door. But don't slam it or else it'll flatten your bread even more. And what that does is create steam. And I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes. So it's 4:25 for 20 minutes. And I'm going to see if I can put this down so you can see what I'm doing. Sorry, you're probably getting some sort of early tummy shot. Oh, and my hand. Okay. So I'm just going to show you, I'm going to put the bread in first. Let's put this in. And I'm going to, go Canucks. playoff game tonight. If nobody knows that, or if you don't know that. Whoopsies. No water in my kettle. That's smart. And I'm letting heat out, which I shouldn't be doing. Make sure you're prepared. Unlike me. I get way too distracted with other things. Okay, let's move my flour. And I'm immediately creating some steam here. I'm going to fill up this. I've just got a cookie sheet underneath. I'm filling that up, closing the door, setting the timer for 20 minutes, and we'll be all done. And when it comes out of the oven, I'll show you the bread. We'll be right back. Hi there. Okay. Woo, steamy. That's good. I'm just going to take the bread out. And the first thing you'll notice is that we have no parchment paper. And what happened was I set the timer for 20 minutes and I went to look at it, and underneath it was very pale and a little bit soggy. Oops, let's turn the camera a bit. It was a little bit soggy. It was all pale and it was a little bit soggy. So I don't think the parchment paper was a good idea. That, or you have to cook it a bit longer. And so what I did was I took the parchment out and I cooked it another 5 minutes. I took the tin foil out too because they already had a hard shell, so they weren't going to fall or anything like that. So what you have to do when you cook your bread, and this goes for any bread, is you have to immediately take it off the rack because it's going to start to steam. And I'm just going to show you, there's no color on here. I keep forgetting that the color is off. Color. There we go, there's some color. You'll see what the egg wash does. You see where I have the egg wash here and where I don't? This is the difference in color. So that looks a lot more artistic and rustic looking to me anyways. So I really like putting the egg wash on my bread, especially my white breads. Baguettes, French bread, that sort of thing. So, excuse me, like I said, it's very, very important that you get it on a cooling rack right away and give it some air circulation around it. I'm not going to need this extra rack. So there's the, oops, I never know which direction the bread or the camera is. So here's the bread, all nice and cool. When it's completely cooled off, I'm going to cube a couple of them for our fondue tonight. And I'm hoping to be able to videotape making the fondue sauce. I make a really easy sauce, and no, not with canned cheese soup. I know a lot of people do that, and that's fine. But of course, mine's from scratch. So this is the bread. It looks fabulous. It's super hot. So it did flatten out because I don't think I had my tin foil high enough. So maybe next time I'm going to lay it underneath, put a fold in it here, like maybe a crease, and try it like that. I've basically never even bothered with worrying about if they go flatter, but I really want to try to find a way, instead of spending $20, $30, $40, $50 on a special pan. I just, it's not going to happen. I'm not doing it. So the other thing is you could possibly just put them together in a smaller pan so they're tight, and then you just break them apart. That could always be a way too, like not a 9 by 13, but something smaller. Anyways, I don't know. We'll put our collective thinking caps on and see what we come up with for next time. But this is French bread, baguette, whatever you want to call it, and it smells unbelievable. One of these days, I am sure we're going to have smell-o-vision and you'll be baking this for sure. It smells amazing. I'll tell you how it tastes when we come back after I've chunked it up and stuff, and let you know and see the crumb, what it looks like. Take care and talk. Okay, this is only 1 minute later. My son came running into the house and said, "You made bread, I want a piece." So I can never deny him. So I just wanted to show you the texture. This is a very dense, but it's not heavy at all. So I'm actually surprised at how dense the loaf is. I will say it's a little bit bland. I would probably, maybe I should have, this is it's a very good plain bread. Let's put it that way. But with butter, I mean, this would be amazing. But it's got a beautiful crust. I just want to show you. Hopefully you can see that okay. It's got a nice, dense, thick crust on it. I maybe wanted to add some garlic oil in replacement of some of the liquid. But you don't want to add too much because this is not a bread that you use oil in. This is a denser bread. It tastes exactly like a baguette. But I just love to flavor things up. So this would be perfect for putting in some dried rosemary, oregano, and little like minced garlic. But it's got a nice, I just want to show you so you can really see it. Hopefully you can see that. It's amazing. It's really good. Very good with some butter, I'm sure. I'm not going to put any on, but it's got a nice crunchy crust. Perfect. So I just wanted to show you that, and I'm going to end this video with a nice beautiful view of the bread. Looks great. And I'm going to do the fondue video as a separate video. So it's super yummy, super good, nice crunchy crust, which you would like in a baguette, and I hope you enjoy it. Have a great day.